In this video, I will be showing you guys how I made LEGO Batman vs. Deadshot Nerf or Nothing, as well as discussing some interesting tips and tricks I learned along the way. If you guys enjoy this video and the content I put out, then please consider liking this video and subscribing for more behind the scenes and LEGO related content.
Still counts.
This video was easily one of the most ambitious projects I've worked on in the span of only a few weeks. My previous videos would take 6 months, sometimes a full year to finish, but I wanted to push myself and see just how much I could get done in a shorter time frame. I had luckily already written the script prior to production, and had the whole idea of where the action would take place already planned out, so the only thing left was to build the sets. There were a total of 3 different sets for this stop motion: the exterior of Deadshot's hideout, the interior, and Arkham Asylum, all of which were extremely complex and packed with minute details, props, and minifigures walking about to make the scene feel more alive. The way I got the look of the sets was actually quite simple. I looked up real-world images of what I was trying to build and used the pictures as inspiration. For example, in this photo, I built a garage and steps to the door just as you see here. And for the interior, I used yellow 1x1s to achieve the same yellow poles as seen in this image. Even the inside of Arkham Asylum was inspired by the LEGO Batman movie. Drawing creativity from the outside world and other forms of media can really go a long way in improving your set designs. A quick side note, the way I made the night sky in the background was actually by getting a plain black t-shirt and putting it over a LEGO box. I've also used this in several of my other videos. Just be sure to hide as many wrinkles on the shirt as possible to achieve that nice smooth backdrop. Now that the background and sets are built, it's time to animate. Animating definitely takes up the majority of your time when making stop motions, obviously. However, it is my favorite part of making videos like these. The animation really doesn't have a ton of inventive and complex animations, but I do want to go over a few animating techniques I use that you may find useful. For every gunshot and bullet flying by, I used these LEGO pieces to achieve that effect. And when the bullet would fly past Batman or ricochet off an object, I would use this piece to travel through the frame either by holding it with a piece of clay on the objects in the background, or I would mask the support holding a spring-loaded shooter in the air. Animating camera movement was another topic I want to address. When animating your camera, make sure to ease in and out just as you would with your minifigures. Your camera is a character in itself, which is why for many of my shots, I like to use a setup like this, instead of a tripod, just because I can move the camera easier on the table. Be sure, however, to set boundaries for your camera by putting LEGO plates or even clay, so your camera doesn't move too much if accidentally bumped. The camera can also be used to achieve some really cool effects as seen here. As you can see, I'm moving the camera to follow Deadshot, but once he starts going through the wall, you'll notice some motion blur. This was done by simply moving the camera while the shutter speed was closing, and because we're going from one set to another, the motion blur really helps hide the fact that I switched sets in between frames. Since I needed the pieces from the exterior set to build the interior of the warehouse, the technique really was useful in making a smooth transition from frame to frame. Of course, there are many elements about animation that I didn't cover in this video, but you can always go frame by frame on the YouTube video itself to see how I did some other methods of animation. Once I finished animating and had my footage ready, I brought it into my editing software of choice, HitFilm. In HitFilm, I edit, sound design, color correct, and add visual effects. I currently use HitFilm Pro, which is the paid version, but for those of you who are interested and have a limited budget, there is a free version called HitFilm Express, which I highly recommend. Because I don't want to overcrowd this video with information, I'll save the tutorial about how I use HitFilm for a later time if enough people are interested. Now it's time for some fun facts. This video took 2.5 months to complete. There were over 3,165 pictures used in this video, and I animated at 15 FPS for this video as well as all my other videos currently on my channel. Oh, and Chewbacca is currently being held in Arkham Asylum because he didn't subscribe, so food for thought.